Assalamu alaikum everyone. This is Shahab Gilani. First of all, let me welcome you to my YouTube channel English Language Zone. If you intend to find a wide range of standard video lectures on English language and literature, you are in the right zone now. Please watch the same, like, and in the end, don't forget to subscribe the channel. Thank you. All right, dear all, let's get started with our today's lesson, that is report writing. Well, before we move forward with our today's lesson, let's have a look at the learning objectives of this lesson. By the end of this lesson, you'll be able to know what is a report writing, understand what makes reports effective, know what are the structural components of a report, write a well-presented report based on the structural components. Dear friends, a report is an account prepared on a given subject which is meant to transfer information from one person to another or from one group of people to another group. It can be based on information collected, examined, and arranged with a view to conveying it to someone with the writer's conclusion or remarks and suggestions. A report is formal or official in presentation. It is the result of a request made or assignment given to the writer of the report. It is based on information caught through observation and investigation for the benefit of others. It can be written without the writer being asked or requested. He can write it himself, prompted by some reasons for the benefit of others. Dear friends, in grade 12, the Federal Board of Intermediate and Secondary Education, Islamabad, requires the candidates to compose and write a report on an unseen topic with the help of given points. This question of report writing carries 8 marks. The candidates can expect to get maximum marks in this question only if the report is composed and written as per the structure set by FBISE. So for this, let's have a look at the structure of report writing required by Federal Board of Intermediate and Secondary Education, Islamabad. According to the instructions of FBISE, a report is usually structured under the following headings. Number 1 is date, which is written on the right hand side of the paper. Number 2 is to. In to, we write the person, officer, or institution addressed. The third heading is from. It contains name and designation of the writer of the report. Subject. It contains the topic or the purpose on which the report is being written. Then is introduction. The introduction tells the reader what the report is about. It introduces the topic of the report in context. The next is the most important part of our report, that is report. It can also be called the body of your report. It's a description of the findings and a discussion of them. The body of the report shows what was done, how it was done, what the results were, and what conclusions and recommendations can be drawn. The next heading is summary or conclusion. A conclusion summarizes the report as a whole, drawing inferences from the entire process about what has been found or decided and the impact of those findings or decisions. The next heading is suggestions or recommendations. The recommendations or the directions or actions that you think must be taken or additional work that is needed to expand the knowledge obtained in your report. The last heading of your report is signature. Remember, it doesn't mean you will put your sign. It is against the rule. You will just write like this, signed ST then XYZ. So following the structural components of a report, this will be the final layout of your report. Date written on the right hand side of your paper like this. Then 2, suppose you are writing this report to the editor of a newspaper. In this case, this heading of 2 will be written like this. You will give heading of 2, then the editor, the Dawn, Lahore. From, suppose you are writing your report as a newspaper reporter. In this case, this heading of from will be written like this, XYZ, newspaper reporter, the Dawn, Lahore. Then subject, suppose if you are writing your report on the topic of drug addiction, in this case your subject will be like this, issue of drug addiction in the society. The introduction of this report will be like this. Being a newspaper reporter, I have compiled a number of reports on terrorism, load shedding and smuggling in the notable newspapers of the country. These reports help to bring a significant improvement in the society. In this report, I'll shed light on the issue of drug addiction. Then report, then the next heading, summary or conclusion, then suggestions, recommendations, then signature written like this. Well, dear friends, as I mentioned earlier, that this question of report writing carries 8 marks. So let's have a look at the division of marks set by the Federal Board of Intermediate and Secondary Education, Islamabad, in its policy guidelines for English paper 2. According to this, 3 marks for the basic units, namely number 1, date, number 2, heading, and heading includes to, from, subject, and number 3 is signature. 5 marks for the orderly, logical and comprehensive matter subdivided into headings like introduction, report, conclusion, suggestions. Please be mindful that punctuation errors may be ignored. Data, though not compulsory, may be rewarded. A natural and factual expression is awarded generously. Alright friends, here is a sample report which fulfills the requirements for the structural components of a report set by the Federal Board of Intermediate and Secondary Education. So let's have a look at it. As a newspaper reporter, make a survey report for your newspaper on drug addiction. Your report should cover the following points. Number 1, prevalence of drug addiction in the society. Number 2, it is harmful for our youth and nation. Number 3, suggestions to put an end to this evil. So let's have a look how this report will be written. Number 1, dated, written on the right hand side of your paper like this. Then 2, written like this. Then from, written like this. Subject, issue of drug addiction in the society, introduction. Being a newspaper reporter, I have compiled a number of reports on terrorism, load shedding, and smuggling in the notable newspapers of the country. These reports help to bring a significant improvement in the society. In this report, I'll shed light on the issue of drug addiction. This report will help us analyze the effects of drug addiction and will help us find better solutions. Report. Drug addiction is a common problem all over the world today. There are many forms of drug addiction, but the most dangerous of it is absolute dependence on it. It has really become a very serious threat in our society. It is found in many forms in rural and urban areas, among the poor and the rich, among the men and the women. But it is most overwhelmingly practiced by young boys and girls in hostels in almost all educational and technical institutions. According to the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, Pakistan has 6.7 million drug users. More than 4 million of these are addicts, amongst the highest number for any country in the world. Drugs such as chars, heroin, tobacco, and marijuana are very popular among young generation. It is found that the youth tends to use in order to seek adventure, excitement, new thrills without realizing the dangers inherent in trying out drugs. Drug addiction among youngsters is increasing day by day, which has a very negative effect on our society. Moreover, this curse has taken over the entire society. The government has been trying to eliminate drugs from society, but still more efforts are needed to completely wipe it out. Now, this is the summary or conclusion. Eradicating the curse of drug addiction from the society is really important. Without it, our youth will destroy themselves and the country. It can only be made possible if the people become increasingly aware of the threats that drugs pose. It is the best time to take the action on it. Later, we'll only repent. Following will be the suggestions or recommendations. I suggest the following steps to be taken in this regard. Number 1, rehabilitation centers should be set up for complete medical support and guidance of the addicts. Number 2, proper counseling of the addicts and the youth should be done by providing them with accurate information. Number 3, focus law enforcement resources on the most dangerous and violent criminals. Next, international drug control efforts should be demilitarized and focus on economic development. And then in the end, signature. You will put your signature like this. So this is what is the sample report based on the structural components of report writing required by the FBISE Islamabad. Well, dear friends, I hope you have understood what is a report, what are the structural components of a report writing required by the FBISE Islamabad, and how many marks this question of report writing carries in question paper, and what is the division of marks. Now it is your turn to apply your understanding of the lesson in doing this home task. Suppose you are a newspaper reporter, submit a report to the editor of your newspaper on ever-rising prices of items of daily use. Your report should cover the following aspects. Number 1, rise in prices in recent months. Number 2, causes of increase in prices. And number 3, suggestions to control ever-increasing prices. Today, thank you so very much and have a nice day. Allah Hafiz.